Regret is one of the most socially acceptable emotions we have. It sounds intelligent. It sounds self-aware. It sounds reflective. I wish I had known. I didn't realize at the time. And that's why it's so seductive, because regret feels like accountability without requiring responsibility. There is an important difference between the two. And until you understand that difference, your life will keep looping. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, respectably. Regret keeps you oriented toward what happened. Responsibility reorients you toward what happens next. And that shift changes everything. Most people believe regret is a sign of growth. It isn't. It's a sign of consciousness without authorship. You can see clearly. You can analyze deeply. You can name every mistake and still not move. Because regret focuses on the past as if clarity alone will fix the present. But clarity does not move a life forward. Choice does. Regret asks the question, what should have happened? Responsibility asks a different one. What am I choosing now? One keeps you emotionally innocent. The other gives you your life back. This is why regret feels safer than responsibility. Regret keeps you blameless. You didn't know. You were young. You were doing your best. You were reacting, not choosing. And often, all of that is true. What am I choosing now? One keeps you emotionally innocent. The other gives you your life back. This is why regret feels safer than responsibility. Regret keeps you blameless. You were doing your best. You were reacting, not choosing. And often, all of that is true. You were reacting, not choosing. And often, all of that is true, but responsibility begins where explanations end. Responsibility does not ask whether you were wrong back then. It asks who you are now. And that is much more confronting. Because responsibility collapses parallel timelines. It ends the fantasy that another version of your life is still running somewhere, waiting for you to return to it. Regret allows that fantasy to stay alive. Responsibility shuts it down. This is where many people get stuck. They think letting go of regret means invalidating their pain. It doesn't. Responsibility is not self-blame. It is authorship. It is the moment you stop narrating your life and start directing it. This is especially difficult for people who are intelligent, reflective, and emotionally literate, because insight becomes a substitute for action. You understand why the relationship failed. You understand your attachment patterns. You understand what you were seeking, and so you stay there, understanding. But understanding without responsibility creates stagnation. You become fluent in your own story without ever moving beyond it. Regret keeps the past emotionally active. Responsibility relocates meaning to the present. And this is why responsibility feels uncomfortable. It removes the comfort of if only. It removes the emotional refuge of the alternate life. It asks something very simple and very hard. Given what you know now, what are you choosing? Not hypothetically, not eventually, now. This is where the loop breaks. Because loops are sustained by unfinished meaning. Regret preserves meaning in the past. Responsibility reassigns it. When people say they feel stuck, they are often confusing regret with responsibility. They believe they are reflecting, but they are actually postponing authorship. They are waiting for the past to resolve itself before they allow themselves to move forward. But the past does not resolve. It recedes. Only the present can be chosen. This is why responsibility feels like loss at first, because it closes doors. Regret keeps doors open emotionally. Responsibility closes them cleanly. And closed doors feel final. That finality scares people more than pain, because pain can be familiar. Finality cannot. Responsibility ends comparison. The moment you take responsibility, the imagined life loses its authority. Not because it was wrong, but because it is no longer relevant. Responsibility says, that version of me existed. That path mattered. And it is no longer the one I am building. No resentment, no erasure, no drama, just authorship. This is why responsibility is quieter than regret. Regret is loud internally. It replays. It analyzes. It explains. Responsibility is subtle. It changes behavior. It changes where you put your attention. It changes what you stop entertaining. It changes what you no longer revisit. Responsibility does not announce itself. It shows up as consistency. And this is the part people misunderstand. They think responsibility means forcing yourself to be grateful, or convincing yourself you're happy. It doesn't. Responsibility simply means you stop asking the past to justify your future. You stop asking, was it right, and start asking, what am I building now? That shift removes the emotional charge from memory. Memory becomes information, not orientation. And when memory stops deciding direction, peace follows naturally. Not excitement, not certainty. Peace. The kind that doesn't need to be defended. This is the difference that changes everything. Regret keeps you emotionally young. Responsibility makes you psychologically adult. And adulthood is not about knowing more. It's about choosing despite knowing. So if you are listening to this and something feels exposed, that's not failure. That's readiness. Readiness to stop rehearsing your story and start inhabiting your life. Responsibility is not harsh. It is honest. It does not punish you for what you didn't know. It empowers you to act on what you do. And the moment you take it, the question, did I choose the wrong life, begins to lose its grip. Because you are no longer evaluating the past. You are choosing the present. And that is where freedom actually lives.